got in touch really. I was speaking to Yap, obviously. I think pitch come up of you or something, and he just started telling me about your little business venture that you've had going on. How long's it been going on?
Yeah.
Just to confirm. How long since you
Well,
set it up?
since I had the idea about 2.5 years,
Two and a
but
half years.
since I've properly been working on it, it's about just over a year now.
So, do you want to just start off just explaining in as many words or as little words as you like to what Joy Theatre UK is and what it does and what it is really?
Yeah, so basically it's a theatre education company, but I'll just put it in plain terms. Basically, it's basically fancy childcare. Yeah, well, don't quote me on that.
No. Well, it's in there now, Ben, I'm afraid. So, yeah, fancy childcare, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested.
That'll be the title.
So 2.5 years ago, you came up with the idea. What was the initial idea, sort of, in its embryonic stages? What I'm sure you didn't think, I know, I'm going to start a fancy childcare company. What was the idea?
Basically, I've been working in the theatre industry since I was younger, and I've just worked for this Italian company, and they were doing kind of what I'm doing now with my business. Just basically, they threw me into a school in the middle of Italy to teach about 25 Italian kids theatre when I was just turning 19. And it was a bit overwhelming, but I was getting paid absolutely nothing, and the kids were paying quite a lot of money to get involved in it. And I was teaching about 30 kids with no help from this company, and I basically counted up the kids that I was teaching and worked out how much they were getting and how much they were paying me, and I was thinking, well, I'm doing all the money here, so I'll try and cut out the middleman. And it just went from there, really. So I just started approaching schools to basically teach theatre to kids in the holidays. And surprisingly, it's like the top schools in Europe that have really been the most interested. So it's really gone from there, I suppose.
So is it effectively dance and drama holiday camp, but for foreign kids?
Yeah, it's just theatre for foreign kids, yeah. So we do a play at the end of the week for parents who can watch. But the summer holidays in, places like Italy are 3 months long. So the parents just want the kids to do something educational, so they give them to me. And, well, the actors I work with for a week or 4 weeks.
Do you run these classes in English then?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
So is that another part of it? Do you have to sort of try and teach them a bit of English as well?
Yeah, so it's like another selling point for the camps why kids should get involved, because it's like an English experience, because I don't really speak much Italian, so we have to communicate in English. So kids as young as 6 years old will have to really force themselves to speak English, and then they do a play in English at the end of the week.
Is that something that's quite difficult to do then while you're trying to teach them theatre, or is it not too bad? Do they pick it up, or is that a bit of a barrier sometimes?
Yeah, it is sometimes, yeah. But to be honest now, most of the schools I work with, because that was, years ago that I worked in Italy with those schools, most of the schools I work with are international schools, or the kids are fluent in English by 3 or 4 years old,
Okay. I see.
The parents are really trying to bring them up to speak fluent English.
So you mentioned that you went on one of these sort of things yourself as a teacher, and so did you sort of think, well, they're not really running it too well here, I could do better? Is that sort of how the idea sprung to life? And
yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was really poor management, and it was just me basically thinking ambitiously, I suppose, that you see a company that's not performing well, and you think you can do better, and it's like I think I heard someone say, I can't remember who, but I think it was one of the Dragons of Dragons then, like, that's one of the first 3 ways you start a business: either get into an industry you want to get into and copy a business, start something new, remember the last thing, but yeah, it's worked for that company and then decided, right, I'm going to improve this company and take it somewhere else.
So would you say you've always had quite an entrepreneurial mindset then? Because it's quite an ambitious sort of plan to think, right, fuck it, I'm going to go for this. Have you always been a bit business inclined to sort of try your own ventures, or was you just literally throwing yourself in the deep end?
Yeah, honestly, never really thought about it. It kind of was like that. I think I tried washing cars when I was younger for about a day.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
apart from that, nothing, you know. I mean, yeah, exactly. That's it. So nothing out of the ordinary. But well, I've been going to auditions and things since I was really young. So when I got into business and you go into meetings and you're getting rejected, and a lot of the transferable skills that you learn in acting when you're younger, in the acting industry or in that career. I like transferable skills you can put into business. So you can cope with rejection really well, which is a really big deal when people aren't wanting to work with you, like schools, for example. Because, for example, this year I approached about 1,200 schools across Europe, emailing them and calling them and things. So it was a really big number, really lot of work, and only 70 of them wanted to meet with me. So it's one of those things, but yeah, not really.
So
been like that. It's been more about acting.
Was sort of your passion for theatre then what really inspired you to do it then? Because
yeah, definitely, and money. Like I'll be totally plain about it. I thought, right, this could be a great living if you can, travel and work and do this. Like it'd be great. But as I've found out, it's been a lot harder to set up a company than I first thought. But
so just to cover before we start delving into it, what do your holiday camps sort of? What do they? Trying to find the word.
Entail.
That's it, indeed.
Yeah. So a week plan. The kids will turn up. We might do things like, it really depends on their age, because now it's gone from teaching kids from 6 to 12 back 2 years ago to now we go from 3 to 18. So it really depends on their age. But they might have, it's the holidays, so they want to have fun. So it's like they want to have water fight, play football, really easy things.
So it's not all based
like
on theatre then?
No, because it's really hard to keep the kids' attention from 9 till 5 like that. So it's like water games and all that. But also we work 2 hours a day on like a show like Peter Pan or something like that for the end of the week, and we bring costumes and make props for the show, and the parents like seeing.
So that's like the focal point, is it?
Yeah, 100%.
Performance at the end of the week, and then just general activities around that, is it?
Yeah.
So when you had this idea, what were the first steps of action that you sort of did? I imagine it took a lot of planning and writing endless pieces of not necessarily even professional business plans to start with. I guess it was just endless brainstorms for a while. What did you sort of do? You say it was
my process.
Yeah.
Firstly, I tried to think of like a name, it's very similar to the name that the company I was working with before. But I just came up with Joy because I thought, well, it sounds happy and it's the holidays and it's for kids.
Yep.
So I went with that, and I thought it was a weak name, but I suppose like names, become themselves or whatever.
Yeah.
But I basically thought that a website was the way to go. I thought a really amazing website. So I spent about 3 months, about 2 years ago, I spent 3 months building like a really fancy website at university in the library, because they had the really good computer for it. So I'd go to the library every day for about 3 hours, built like a 50-page website with like German translations, Spanish translations, spent loads of interest on it. And then I looked at anyone who was visiting it, and it turned out that people were only visiting one page and then leaving. So it was interesting. If I could go back, I wouldn't spend 3 months building the website. I'd just spend 2 days building a 3-page website, really simple, and then just go take action to try and make some contacts and money. I suppose if I was going back to do the process again, like you were saying, like brainstorming, I'd set the business up in a month rather than take 9 months to do it.
So did you sort of come up with the ideas, what you have to offer, you obviously wrote all that out. Then how did you go about actually generating some business and some custom?
Well, yeah, so I built the website, but like you were saying, a lot of the stuff, to be honest, I didn't write a lot of my day plans down and my plans down. I just had the basic idea for this camp, and then I went straight to and started talking with schools and venues like theatre venues, hire out or whatever to host it. And the funny thing is, while I'm in the interview or whatever, I've come up with new ideas for the
so you're freestyling on the spot.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, mate, 100%. That is what business is. Just constant freestyling off the cuff. Like, I was like, one head teacher went, "Will you provide meals?" And I went, yeah, of course we do provide hot meals. And I was like, shit, I've got to provide meals now. That I didn't think about that. Yeah, and then he went, we need a bus service. And I was like, great, we work with a school that does bus services. And all this, I was like, I'd never done a bus service in my life. I was just like, I just want this deal. I just want this to go well. Please give me the opportunity. And that's where it's gone. And then you walk out the meetings like, shit, I've got to prepare that now.
So was it more of securing the deal before you actually had the means to deliver what you was promising, or did you must have sort of, I don't know, do you have like equipment and stuff in like ready, or did you like the startup costs? I'm just trying to think what sort of stuff did you have to get in before you started promising all these things?
I suppose the startup costs are really, financially they're quite low, but thankfully I've been doing theatre since I was 8 years old, so there is a lot of like work that you have to put into the program itself, because you can set up the camp, but if parents aren't impressed with it, your reputation catches on quickly, and you may only do one or two camps with schools before no one works with you again. So you have to make sure that, I suppose the startup costs are getting the knowledge and the information and the contacts in like an acting industry who you can call really quickly at the last minute to work with you on a camp. But I suppose financially it's quite low startup cost, which is great. But the problem is getting contacts, and especially in the acting industry for recruiting people who work with you, because you need good workers to work with you. And thankfully, I've got a lot of friends who are great teachers and great actors.
So you quickly summoned them, I imagine, once you had this idea and got them on board, did you?
Yeah. So, for example, we've got camps starting in 8 weeks, and I have no idea on the numbers of the people involved. So, in about 4 weeks, I'll just be calling round most of the people I know are good and just say, are you free for 4 weeks to do this? And hopefully some of them will be. So it's not necessarily the startup costs that are the difficult part. It's the technicalities of everything. It's the devil's in the details, I suppose.
Yeah. So how long was it before you actually got a deal secured? From the time that you had the idea to then getting a deal secured, how long was that? And then how many pitches had you made before you got that first deal? Yeah,
it was. So January of last year when I first started trying to get deals. Oh no, sorry, it was about a year before I actually got a deal, which is a really long time, to be honest. But that's because I was still working everything out and working out business and learning about it. But I was actually very lucky. One of the first meetings I ever did with a school or anything, it was a really positive response, and I just thought every other school is going to be like that. But it took a year to get my first school, and that was really small. That was like not not what I expected. Last year, the first school I worked with properly, I made a loss on it. So I had to work out the marketing, how to get kids to get involved in the camp, which I've worked out this year, thankfully. But I would say I had to approach and go to meetings with 20 schools, which doesn't sound a lot if you're in the UK, but this is flying out to Germany, sleeping on Flixbuses to go to different meetings, all while trying to do university. So it's about 20, for every 20 meetings I have, I'll usually get a school that says yes.
For every 20 you get one. Wow. It's quite a lot of dedication then. And again, I must say, it's a very ambitious idea, and it seems that you're really confident in yourself, even though you perhaps didn't get any results to start with, and it was a long process, and you wasn't even sure perhaps that it was going to materialise to anything. Where do you think that sort of ambition and willingness to just say, you know, fuck it, let's give it a go, let's fly here, there, and I've got a pitch, I've got to get a deal? Where does that come from? Have you always been quite confident and out there like that, or do you know what I'm trying to say?
I suppose I'm a confident person, but the thing is, my mentality for it is because I'm so young. Because I'm 22 now, but at the time I was really starting it, I was 19, and I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to take, because I was living at home and going to university and not taking out a student finance loan. So what I did was take out the student finance loan, which was about $2,000 because I was living at home, and said, right, with this $2,000, I'm going to try and set up a business this year. So I don't give a fuck if it goes wrong because it's not my money. I'm just a bit more in debt. I'm just going to fully go for it. Who cares? And if I waste 3 years of my life trying to set up a business, then I'm only 22 by the time I finish. You know, so fuck it, let's give it a go. And then I'll get a normal job after uni if it doesn't go well. Yeah. So that's what it really was. I've just basically looked ahead and gone, I don't care if I waste 3 years of my life. I'll just try, at least I'll try and set something up. And if it comes to the point where I've failed, then fuck it, I had to go. And that's all it's been. And then I think because of that mentality of, like, there's not been a fear of failure because I'm allowing myself to fail. Yeah. So it's just gone from there.
Not being scared, not almost nothing's really riding on it. Do you think that's helped?
Yeah, I mean, a lot's riding on it because I do put a lot of my own money into it as well, and my own time, which is more important because I could be doing other things. But I think it's that mentality of going, right, it's okay if I kind of fail. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if I fail, it's not the end of the world. Who gives a fuck? No one's going to be dead.
Then you're not suffocating yourself with like loads of pressure, and then that'll just fuck you up, I imagine, if you did.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, mate, I'm under pressure a lot sometimes.
No, I know you are now. Yeah. I mean, back then when you was, I'm saying when you initially thought it doesn't matter, 3 years, let's give it a go. I mean, back then, I guess that because you didn't pile loads of pressure on yourself in the first place, that must have had part to play. When I was speaking to Yap, he mentioned like you've always sort of liked to travel and never really had any qualms about just upping and leaving and I'm off here and there, and you've always you're quite.
No, I went around Europe when I was 17. Yeah,
that's what he was saying. He said you've always been like into traveling. Is that sort of part of this business venture because it facilitates your own wanderlust a little bit because you get to go to all these places?
Yeah, I think subconsciously you're dead right. Like, I like going to all these different, because someone said, why haven't you done it in the UK or whatever, and I couldn't really answer it. But I think it's because as well that if I gain a bad reputation with schools abroad or partners, business partners abroad, it's kind of, I'll never see those people again, so that it's kind of indispensable. So it gives me that confidence to be like, you know what, just fully go for it. Don't give a fuck about anyone. Just go for it. Let's see what happens. And thankfully, it's worked out all really well. But it was that idea of, they're in a different country, so I can fully. I can't really explain it very well. But do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, I do. Totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. And I think I've got to have that attitude in the UK as well. That, like, and in that attitude in life as well for everything. Whether it be like girls in the nightclub, just go, right, I'm going to go and hit on her, I don't give a fuck if she turns me down.
Yeah.
And with that confidence, you might get somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like that.
It's funny. It's so that's the best way to relate it, I guess. It's literally go for it. So in your first year, how so it took you a year to get your first deal, and then after that, did you start getting more and more, or was it still relatively slow? What did your first year look like once you started actually doing it and acting?
Well, if I could, if I had to set the company up now with the mindset and the knowledge I have, I could do what I've achieved now in about 6 months. Yeah. What I've achieved in 2 years in 6 months. Yeah. But the thing is, yeah, exactly. It's all the things you learn. It's really difficult. Like, if you know that do you know that Ty Lopez guy with the Lamborghinis garage? Like, me and Yap take the piss out of him so much. Yeah. But the thing is, he actually said something really true in that little video, that books and knowledge is really so fucking important for, like, the amount of books that I've read about business now, which I've never been interested in. I've never been a reader or anything like that. But the amount of books you've got to read, there's so much knowledge of them, and you really can build a business just by reading about 10 books and getting the knowledge from them. But yeah, I suppose that this year, back in September, I said I wanted to massively grow the business, and I got 14 new clients, which is like a total of 16 now. So it's 16
that's
schools.
Since September just gone?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Wicked. So you've got a busy year ahead, have you?
100%, yeah.
How many camps you got booked?
It's about 27 weeks worth of camps now.
And are you there for every single one of them? I can't imagine you can do all of them.
God, no.
No.
So, so, like I say, with the contacts, the good contacts I have, like the actors, they'll be running some for me because they know how to do it and they're experienced, and I trust them. So I'm working out that now, and it's all this, and it's all this cutting edge stuff that I've never experienced before, like trying to be a boss, or it's scary sometimes, but it's worth it.
So what sort of day by day do you have to do? I imagine how do you stay focused and organise yourself to know what you've got to do and when? Because you must have a lot of admin to do almost every day.
Yeah. It's mainly admin. It's hard to say, to be honest. Like,
what sort of things do you have to do?
You have to create your own jobs when you're, in charge of yourself, which is hard. So you have to be disciplined. But I'll have to create marketing materials, run the social media pages, which doesn't take too much effort, to be honest. And then talking with customers is the biggest deal, because you're in charge of their kids for 2 weeks. So they're really wanting to know everything about you. So some of them, like today, about an hour ago, I had a woman call me for about 20 minutes just asking who we are, what we do, and it's because they obviously really love the kids and want their kids to be safe in the holidays if they've not worked with us before. And it's just talking with, it's just a lot of nitty gritty stuff. But yeah, it's
is that
interesting.
Something I suppose you've grown into, like you say, a lot of the freestyling side of things, but then I imagine it's not so freestyled now. You've done it a lot, I suppose.
No, it's still 90% freestyle. But yeah, I'll tell you, I can wing. I think if you're going to start a business,
you must have more confidence in what you're actually saying.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've got a track record of winging something and going, well, that worked out well, so I can wing a lot easier now.
Yeah.
But I've always wung my way through life. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like with exams, just going, there's an exam in a week and you think, oh shit, you got to revise for that, and then you just do a night before, bash out 9 hours and just think, right, walk into the exam, do it, and it usually goes all right.
Out of the bag, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, mate. I don't really can't get my head around it all.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Because you just might find me asking one thing, going completely somewhere else, then coming back to the thing I was talking about. I've only just started.
Oh, mate,
doing these.
Sorry, Yeah, mate, I'm chewing your ear off. Did you have to tell it?
It's good. No, it's
I
good.
love talking to you.
No, I love it. I'd rather that than, not be interested.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not worth speaking to you. It's great. It's not even you. It's just my head. I come in with a list of questions, do a little bit of research, and then obviously the conversation takes its course and you divert a little bit. I'm just trying to make sure I'm covering all angles, but it might not all be.
But I love what you're doing, though. That's really good. I've always thought someone should be doing this.
Yeah, I mean, it's for a uni project, but I think I'm going to carry it on because I've only done a few stories so far, and the feedback, like the people I interview, are really appreciative that I've taken interest, and I find it inspiring.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I find it inspiring. Just speak to young people. Do you know what I mean? That are doing something
100%,
out of the box, taking the initiative, and going for it in whatever their passion is and whatever they want to do. So yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm going to ramble now because I've got a good idea. What I want to say to you, I always say to Yap. I always say to him, I don't know if he'll remember because I say a lot to him, but I say a lot to my mates, it's really lonely doing a business yourself because I'm experiencing things and experiencing problems that my parents, who I go to advice a lot, or my mates, I'll go for them for advice and they won't be able to advise me. Yeah. You know, I'll be like, oh, what do I do about this situation, blah, 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 blah. And people go like, well, I don't really know and it's good. It's good building like a network of people, say on the internet or whatever, or in books or whatever, who have the same problems. So I think it's a good platform to do it on.
Definitely. So have you not really had anyone mentor you then, have you? You've just sort of found your
own, only on the internet.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you got in contact with people then?
No, there's just this is the thing. It's
watching videos and stuff.
100%, yeah. Now with the internet's destroyed universities. And, it's at least destroyed the business degree,
what do you mean
I
by
think.
That?
Everything, like everything you could ever want about business, like knowledge, is on the internet. It's if you just do a quick Google search, there's just people teaching it for free. Constantly. So this is what I've realised after going, because I'm still at university, obviously. I'm graduating in a year and a half. Okay. There's so much, like, people like, you might not have heard of, but like Dan Pena, there's a guy on there, and you can watch like an 8-hour lecture that he did in Heathrow Airport about 20 years ago, all about business, and it's just so, like, the amount of knowledge in there is just amazing. And I think even if you don't have a business idea, or you don't have anything, if you just start watching these videos or reading books like by Robert Kiyosaki or Donald Trump, even people like this, you'll just start coming up with ideas. You know what I mean?
Do you almost feel like watching a few hours YouTube a night is better than doing a whole uni course?
Yeah, oh, mate, honestly, I totally think that now. Even though it's bad to say, and it might be insulting some people, I think there's really some subjects you should go to university for. Yeah. But for example, I did business and German in my first year at uni. Yeah. And then I dropped business and set up this business. So, because I wasn't learning how to start a business, how to sell a business. You were just learning how to become a manager in Tesco's or something. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And I wanted to learn how to start a business, grow it like someone like Richard Branson, then sell it on. And all of that's on YouTube, and you can learn it dead easy. And yeah, it's just interesting, I suppose.
I mean, you've mentioned Ty Lopez, Dan Pena. Who else do you listen to? Do you listen to Gary Vaynerchuk a lot, or
I've only just got into Gary Vaynerchuk, to be honest. I don't listen to Ty Lopez too much, but I might in the future. I suppose the biggest people. The best thing I've done is go on YouTube and get Audible. Yeah. So I buy 24 books a year on Audible with this £100 subscription. Yeah. And the best people to learn from are people like Robert Kiyosaki, who's released so many books. You don't have to agree with him politically, but Donald Trump, he's written some great books. Yeah. Who else? Dan Pena. Gary Vaynerchuk's great for social media, but I just find him annoying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I really do as well.
Mate, I find he's just, he's so patronising.
Like you say, he knows what he's on about. It's just how he delivers it. But
Grant Cardone's great.
Who? Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone. Yeah, and I like his books as well. But like I say, Gary Vaynerchuk's just very. I don't know. His message is great, but he's just so fucking patronising.
He's only asked too much, isn't he? Yeah,
Yeah.
right, switching to subject. Yep, told me that about a little story. Apparently, you'd spent something ridiculous like 7, 8, 9 hours on a bus going somewhere in Germany to do a pitch, and they just turned it down or something. Is that right?
Mate,
Is that right?
That's nothing. That is nothing, seriously.
I was going to say, have you got any other stories like that? Just
God.
so listeners get sort of a sense of the amount of dedication and sort of rejection and perseverance it does take to do something like this. What sort of things have you experienced along those lines?
I'll tell you 2 stories. So 1 week, it was May of last year, I tried to get some autumn camps. So I flew out to Germany, and I had not had a lot of luck getting meetings. So instead of just focusing on one city, I thought, right, I'll do the whole of Germany, try and get meetings, and see where it goes. So I got about 7 people get back to me wanting to meet with me, but they're all dotted all around Germany, Berlin, Hanover, Munich, just all around Germany. So basically what I did is I spent, out of the 6 days I was there, I had 1 night in a hostel, and the rest of the nights were on overnight buses. And out of the 7 meetings, none of them said yes.
Oh, no.
And I flew home a complete failure.
What did you take from that? Did that chop you down a bit, or how did you react to that in your own
No,
way?
I learned shitloads from that. Like that, it's hard to say what I learned from it, but I was going into the meetings with a face of desperation, because I was really because each one you down, and you were aware that you were sleeping on a bus for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Living off hot dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
And you were going in like, come on, like, please give me this thing. Which I'll lead on to this story next. So back in September, I'm on my gap year now. Well, we're abroad now for uni.
Yeah.
And I've just put to Erasmus. So I'm getting my Erasmus grant, but I'm working for my company, which is great, because normally people go and work for a different company in Europe. And I've just signed myself up to my own company.
Honestly, mate, you're inspiring, honestly. This is why I want to talk to you. I can't believe you haven't even graduated yet and you're doing all this. It seems like inconceivable.
That's the thing to me. Like, it sounds great when I'm saying back, and I think, wow, yeah, what a great story. But when you're doing it, it's just fun. Like, it's just funny. Like, I'll tell you the big story of this year. Cool. And I'll send you the blog post I did that I had to do for my homework for university.
Go on.
After this. But basically, I don't know if Yaps told you about my car. It's like, I bought it for 390 quid when I was 19.
No, yeah.
It's a Ford Fiesta 1998. One of those really, really shit in-betweener style cars.
Yeah.
And basically, back in August, I drove it out to Frankfurt for my year abroad. And I was thinking, I really had no idea what I was going to do with the business back in August. I thought, right, shall I scale it up massively or just keep it ticking away as it's going? Because it's making, a couple of grand profit last year. Shall I just keep going with that? That's great. But I thought, fuck it, let's put all the money I made last year straight back into it. All my Erasmus money going straight into it. Let's fucking go for it this year and just try and destroy it. Anyway, drove out to Europe and set up, like I say, I approached about 1,200 schools across loads of countries in Europe. 70 got back to me, and these were in like Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Czech Republic, France, Portugal, everywhere. So what I did was I was in Frankfurt, and I went, right, I'm going to fucking have to drive around for 6 weeks.
To 70 different schools?
50, and then I went back to the UK and then flew out to Portugal and went over to Madrid and did that. But I drove all around Germany, drove into Switzerland, spent a week sleeping in my car because it's too expensive to get a hotel in Switzerland, and doing it all in one suit, so not having a wash for days, just shit.
Turning up to business meetings, showerless.
I won't tell you about the toilet scenario. It's just, the amount of lay-bys I've slept in, just shit. It was just shit.
But it while trying to convince these schools that they should invest in you.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, this is the thing about winging it. They don't see that side of it.
No.
They just see me in my suit and Presley,
serious geezer.
really nice suit and a briefcase, really looking serious, like I've come from a really reputable company, and then I'll park around the corner from these, because some of these schools the kids pay like 30 grand to go to. So I was just walking in there, kind of, you know, but always, like I say, from that thought in May, I was always coming from a place of like, we might be able to fit you in summer, you know, we might be able to do this, we've got a lot of work, and basically bullshitting a lot of the meetings, and coming from a place of like, I heard someone say once, the hungry don't get fed, you know, like tramps on the street don't get fed. So if you come into a situation with a theory of like mentality, and it's the same thing when I talk about with lads, like when you have a girlfriend, every other girl fancies you. It's the most frustrating thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so you've almost got to act like you'd like them to invest, but if they don't, oh well, I've got plenty on my plate.
Exactly.
Anyway.
It's that indifference thing. It's the whole like, my cup is full without you, so you can join this party or you can leave. And if you have that attitude, people just really want to go for it. Yeah. But again, out of those 70 people, only about 13 or 14 were interested. So, and that was like, I remember going for about 4 days in my car, driving 8 hours a day, sleeping for about 6 hours a day in my car. Yeah, on the wrong side of the road and everything. And then, like, for 4 days in a row, I got no's from meetings, just like, so 8 meetings in a row. Everyone was just saying no constantly. I was like, fuck me, this is just.
Do you ever get disheartened, or are you quite well armoured for that? Are you quite? So I keep saying
that pushed me to the limit.
Did it?
Yeah, but it felt great afterwards. But you don't realise, like, oh yeah, really. But I've realised that I like pushing myself.
Yeah.
But it makes you feel worthwhile, because like I'm someone who gets, if I don't do something, and most men are like this, I think. If you don't achieve something or you don't go out and do something, you get depressed very quickly.
Definitely.
You start thinking about the bigger picture in life and shit like that.
Yeah.
But if you just pull the trigger and go, right, I'm going to fucking do this, and I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about it. Let's just fucking do this. You know, you feel really good afterwards.
Definitely. I can relate to that a lot, actually, in terms of like when you start thinking of the bigger picture too much, you get lost, and it's like,
and
then you
the
start
thing is,
worrying and panicking, and it's just day by day, week
100%.
by week. Do you set a lot of short-term goals? Do you have goals, or do you just sort of try your best and roll with it, or are there things that you're trying to achieve in terms of, right, I want to try and get 2 schools to sign up this week or this month or whatever? Do you do that sort of thing?
Yeah, 100%. Goals are key to it. You know, you have to have goals. I remember a big thing that probably, God, this is getting really interview style now. One of the biggest things that changed my life, like a life-changing moment, when I was 8 years old. My dad gave me a little book from like the pound shop, and he wrote goals on it. And he said, because he was sick and tired of like babysitting me and my brother, you know, like we had to write down, right, by next week I've got to learn how to tie my shoes. By 2 weeks I've got to learn how to put my seatbelt on myself. And that's just carried, and I loved doing that. I loved, you know, learning what a goal was and learning what a target was and achieving it, and having that track record of doing that. And I'm a very like big picture person, so like I don't like you say, daily goals. Daily goals are just things that I kind of have to get done. I'm one of those people. I suppose a lot of guys are like this, to be honest. That you'll do something at the last minute. You need a deadline for a goal. But I suppose with this school thing, you know, I said to myself, I want, you know, 15 schools in Europe, and I thought, well, what do I need to achieve that? Well, given my track record, I need to go to 20 meetings for every school. So that means what? 300 meetings. So how do I get 300 meetings? I need to approach
1,500 schools or something.
1,500 schools. So that's the way you do it, and it's all better to set a target that's bigger, you know, than yourself. This is what this guy Grant Cardone and Dan Pena teach, that if you 10x or whatever, like I hate using cheesy stuff like that, but like if you have a goal, if you go, right, say you want to put on 20 pounds of muscle, go, right, I'm going to just aim to put on 50 pounds of muscle, and then maybe I'll put on 15, you know?
Yeah. So
if you're gymming up.
So you said when you got this Erasmus fund and that you decided, right, fuck it, I'm going to try to go bigger. I'm going to invest it all back into my business, and try to go bigger next year. So speaking of goals, what are your goals for this year then?
In terms of schools, I've achieved my goals, which is great. I've got 15 schools. Yeah, I've got 15 schools working with me, so that's great. So I'm not trying to take on any more schools. The goals now is I want to get 1,000 kids involved
across the 15 schools.
Yeah, across 15 schools. So that means approaching like 10,000 parents. So I'm looking into advertising on Facebook.
Oh, so you contact the parents directly then? You don't leave that down to the schools to then do
God no.
Secondary.
It's all up to me.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you don't right, the school shook my hand, they're now going to tell the parents this is going down. You have to do that bit as well.
Yeah, you have to win the It's like, that's the thing I didn't realise as well. Like, you're totally right. I got my first school, and then I went, well, great, I've done it now.
Yeah.
But then I thought, this is why I made a loss in my first year. I thought, oh shit, now I've got to fucking punch it for the schools and everything, for the parents and win those. So now I'm in Dortmund. We've got, I've got 3, I would say we, but it's really just me. I've got 3 schools here just around me, within about 40 miles of me. So it's just basically going to the schools every day or whenever, or maybe once a week, and talking with parents and getting involved and getting word of mouth going.
Yeah.
And that's where the real work comes in, I suppose.
And so you speak fluent German, obviously.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Well,
at A level.
What about when you're not in Germany then? How do you? Must be hard to sell yourself, no?
Oh, Switzerland is like German speaking,
Yeah.
so that's good.
Yeah.
But a lot of the schools I try and get. God, that's a good question actually. I've really yet to answer that myself, because we've got one in Paris, and I've got to promote all that from March to June. So in terms of that, I think I'll because it's the internet that helps you. You can find someone who can translate a marketing material for you. And I just have to learn that. Yeah, and I just have to learn the line in French if people call the phone. What you're calling now, actually. Sorry, we don't speak English at the office. Can you please email us? And I'll bang it on Google Translate and try and reply.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, there's ways around it. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, how many kids roughly do you have in one camp at one school then? And do you split them into age groups? How does that all work? The actual camp side of things when it comes around to it.
Yeah, that's another difficult question, because it really depends on just everything, really. Like I say, I'd like to get as many kids into a camp as possible, but it just depends on the culture of the school, the culture of the parents. If there's a lot of kids interested in theatre there, it really depends. So, but for Easter, for example, I'll tell you this: for Easter, so that's in 8 weeks. I've got my camps kicking off. I've got 4 weeks of camps kicking off in Easter.
Yeah.
And at the minute, I've got only about 10 kids involved, but parents and people in general are just worked to a deadline. So you might get and I don't know at this at the minute. It's really the unknown, and this one, you get a bit scared sometimes, but you just have to, keep plodding on. You might get an influx of people in the last 2 days wanting to join in. That might be, 80% of your kids. Yeah. Or on initial release of the tickets, you might get the most people. But it's just a really, everyone wants data, and everyone needs that, because I think someone said humans need 2 things for people to like them, and they need certainty, don't they? So we always want to know if we've got a job, or we always want to know data, but it's really in the stages of the unknown. So I'll see next year where it lands and where it ends up.
Sorry to just keep firing questions every time you speak. I think
Go on, please.
More. I hope you don't mind. The people you employ to put on these, so when you've got a camp, you leave people to run it for you. How do you make sure they're sort of upholding your standards? Do you have sort of like little training classes for your own employees, or do you know what I mean? Or do you just talk them through it? How does that work?
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing about 4 or 5 days worth of training,
Yeah.
and again, this is a good question because it's kind of, I'm still figuring out that system
Yeah.
of you have to. That's the most difficult thing working with people, is you have to work out a system of how do you control things, how do you regulate your staff, and it's literally going to be, I'm going to give them, whenever it's an unknown situation like this, like you just asked, I just go fully control.
Yeah.
I'll tell them what they need to be doing every hour of every day, Monday to Friday, and the goals they need to hit, instead of like when I was working in Italy 2 or 3 years ago. They just go, right, take care of these kids and do a show for the week.
Yeah. Yeah. And not really tell you what to do and how to do it, and just let you
exactly,
sort of get on with it. And
that makes me go, right, the kids can play bingo for an hour and I'll just sit with my feet up, So, like, I don't want that happening in my campus. So,
so you obviously come up with a list of activities and ideas and and really drilling into them on what each one sort of entails.
The key is recruitment. You have to have, and I've always said this for any good business. This is the thing that people get scared about. Everyone gets scared about graduating and going and get a job because they think they're not going to get a job. But like when I'm setting up this business and when I've talked to other employers or read other books, single hardest thing for probably every single business is to get good people to help them run it.
Yeah.
To get capable people. So that's what I said. I was having this conversation with Yap. Like, he got offered a job in a pub for doing some translation work back in the pub in Chesterfield, and it's because he's like, people are always looking for capable people to do work.
Yeah.
Because the amount of, if you just walk around town, like Chesterfield town, for example, whereabouts are you from, mate?
I'm Bedfordshire, down south.
Yeah. Yeah. If you just walk around your local town, you just see, not being like, elitist or snobby or anything like that, but you think, I'm going into, I don't know, marketing or journalism or whatever. How many people around this town that I'm looking at just now would I offer a job to?
Yeah, probably.
And you'd be surprised. Like, you go, well, not that many.
Yeah.
So there's a very small group of people who are capable for doing work, and that's what I need to do. Like, and that's why I'm lucky that I've worked in acting since I was 8 years old. I've got a group of about 30 really, really capable people who I can call on and got a good friendly relationship with to help me out and also to give them a job.
Yeah. Wicked. So that really helped then, having that sort of group of connections, without doubt. I imagine that's sort of fast tracked it a little bit almost. Otherwise,
100%.
Hunting for people all the time.
I would. Yeah, definitely.
Go on. Was you going to say something?
I wouldn't have had the balls to grow the business as much as I have if it wasn't for that knowledge. Yeah, you're right.
Have them people to fall back on and to help you and employ.
Yeah.
In terms of working with the children, is that? Would you say you're a children's person? Did that have anything to do with it, or is that just something? What's that like? Do you enjoy working with the children?
Before I ever worked with kids, so I've worked with kids in the summer for altogether about 9 or 10 months. All the work I've done with kids now, toting it all up over the last 3 or 4 years. And I really thought I'd hate it at first, but actually it's really enjoyable. Like, it's quite easy once you get your head around it. Don't get me wrong, it's fucking stressful because they have so much fucking energy. Jesus Christ! Yeah. But it's amazing. Like, I really do love working with kids. It's rewarding as well when you see a kid that's not got a lot of confidence at the start of the week, make so many friends and do a theatre show at the end. I do like it. And I suppose it's made me less nervous about working with kids or even having my own kids in like 10 or 15 years.
Yeah. You put that, you'll be nearly 40, mate. You ain't got that long.
Yeah,
10,
mate.
15 years.
Mate, I'm going to be one of those 70-year-olds with a blonde bombshell.
Yeah, fuck's sake. Oh, God. And do the parents, I bet that's also quite rewarding when they come see the show and they enjoy it. Do you get a lot of good feedback?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, the feedback's great. It's always, because you're always scared about people not liking it, and there's always going to be haters. That's probably the biggest thing that I've had to deal with is seeing some close friends become, I hate using the word haters because it does sound so cheesy, but, it is true. You just do get haters, and it's not nice.
What you
and,
mean from your home, like from your hometown and that people seeing you
yeah,
doing it and they're a bit jealous almost?
Yeah, kind of. And even some friends who are actors, they're very, it's how do I say it without sounding mean? It's been really hard. Oh God, it's getting emotional. It's fucking hell.
No, go on. That's good. That's what I need.
It's
means
like
I'm doing my job properly when you start spilling.
Yeah. But I've seen some people who've I thought were really good friends and things, but that people make small comments to you that try and pull you down or keep you on their level. And it sounds so cliched and so cheesy, but it's so true. Like, some people really don't want to see you succeed because it makes them feel bad. And it is bad. It's it's a maturing and quite a humbling experience that you have to go from, because I share, like I've been doing now with you, like saying this is what I want to achieve, this is what I want to do, and when you say that to people, I say that to friends like Yappy, who's great, who I always talk to, and I go, right, I want to achieve this, I want to do this, and he'll go, and you get, it's a really black and white thing. You'll get friends who go, yeah, fucking go for it, mate. Yeah, oh, that'd be incredible if you did that. Yeah, go for it.
I'd like to.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. That's why I still, talk to him about business and why he's probably brought me up to you, because I actually consciously go and think, right, what does Yap think? What does my mate Shaq think? What does my mate Max think? Those are the people I go to for advice about things, because but then you have other friends. Yeah, you have other friends who go, yeah, that's bullshit, mate. You're not going to do that, And then you realise they're the haters, and you think, oh, fuck, I wish, I really didn't expect that coming, but fuck, all right, whatever. So you just have to keep your mouth shut around those people.
I suppose that's another learning
curve. It's like this thing you're doing now, mate. Like, the more interviews you do, like, someone might start pulling it down or going, he's a shit guest, or you can't really get good people on your show, can you? Or, oh, how many people do you get reading your thing? And you like laugh it off and you go, oh, it's just banter. But really, it's fucking hate. It's really subconscious.
Yo, hello? Ben, your signal's cut. Complete silence. I'm gonna call you straight back. Yeah, where were we? Literally saying. What was you saying, mate?
Haters.
That's it, that's the one, yeah. And like I was saying, it's another learning curve, I guess. Well, now I've been cut off, let me just skip to my next question, even though that was all relevant. It's still there, luckily it was still recording. Plans for the future. How big do you want to make this business, or do you not think too far ahead? Or in your head, where's this all ideally going? Are you going to try and sort of grow it to be one of the biggest of its kind across Europe?
Yeah, definitely. Not even across Europe. I want to take it global now.
Yeah.
I was originally going to go to China this year, and this is a funny story. I was speaking with Yappy's girlfriend's brother who works in China. I know that's a bit weird connection. I was saying to him I want to do camps in China. But this year I've just focused on Europe from what my finances will allow. But yeah, if I make money this year, I'm just going to do exactly the same thing. Just go fully for it again. Yeah. Try and finish my degree, obviously, but that's a choice of summer, I suppose, if I do my fourth year. Because I would like a degree, but just finish what I started. But yeah, just go global with it. Go to Canada, America, Australia, Middle East, wherever it'll go.
And are the financial targets something that you pay a lot of attention to, or are you still in the stages of whatever I make? Are you still in the stages of whatever I make? Let me just find my feet still, or are you getting to the stage where you're like, no, I need to hit this year, I need to hit that next year?
Yeah, I suppose that I always set a financial target. You never know what you're going to achieve because you never know the, customer, because you haven't got data. I suppose, like I said earlier, like you don't have data. I don't have the data of, right, if I talk to 10 parents, for example, I get one kid. It's really unknown, so I'm just let's say best to go bigger than smaller. Yeah. And I'm just going massive marketing, massive doing every marketing style I can think of, like having, you know, parent meetings, having assembly meetings, talking with people, and seeing from that what gets results. And from that, but yeah, I always set a financial target, and it's all. I mean, I'm not going to achieve it this year. I've realised, because I set it way too big. But again, if I didn't set it huge, then I wouldn't be, you know, achieving what I'm doing this year. But I don't know. We'll fucking see. Yeah. I could fucking lose money. I could make money at this point. I've no money. I've no idea.
Yeah. So literally, this is still the early stages, but I imagine this is gonna, for the next 5 decades, whatever. You've thrown yourself in. You're in the pool now. You're swimming, and that's what you're gonna do for the foreseeable future. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. But then, if I built it to a point, and then someone says, "Oh, I'll buy it off you," this thing I learned as well. Like, it's really profitable to build businesses and then sell them, because you can sell them and not get taxed for it.
Yeah. And then would you look to start something else?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, I don't care. I'm just really, as long as I'm happy day to day, I'll just keep doing what I like, you know.
Did you go into uni? You do business at uni, right? In German, you said.
I dropped out first year.
You dropped out. But did you go into uni wanting to be a businessman and wanting to start your own thing?
To be honest, I chose business because I do German. I do straight Germanics now. And I thought, well, if I do German and business, which was my course originally, then I'll get a good job at the end of it, which is what you're taught to learn. And as if you go away and read these books that I've said, like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that's probably the main book I'd suggest to anyone.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, yeah, I've heard.
Have you heard of it?
I've recommended it so many times and never read it. I do need to.
Oh, mate, yeah, do it. It changed my life.
Yeah.
So simple, but so easy. And in that, basically, he says, like, we're put through an education system that teaches us to get a job.
Yeah.
And if you want, there's nothing wrong with getting a job if it's high paying or whatever and it makes you happy. But as soon as you learn about tax and you learn that you get taxed 50% on whatever you earn, and businesses get taxed like 19% or maybe even less, you realise that the game's rigged, you know.
Yeah.
So setting up your own business is the way forward if you want to get rich or whatever you want to achieve.
Yeah.
And that was like, I was like, fuck, wow, like that really started like the rabbit hole, you know, like I was like, fuck, wow, that's interesting, yeah, you know. And it's just a really good way to live your life if you follow that book. I forgot the question, sorry, mate.
No, so have I. Do you know what? That's what I'm starting to learn is when I forget what I've asked and what I've got to ask, it's actually a good thing because it means we're just getting lost in I like to think of these more as it's better to have it as a conversation rather than an interview. You get
definitely, yeah.
You know what I mean? But I feel like we've covered a lot and I just really appreciate you speaking to me. Is there anything else you think we might not have talked about? I think we've covered quite a lot of bases. And I'm sure this is how I find myself. Once I start getting an hour in, I know I've got more in me and I know we could speak so much longer, but I get to the stage where my mind's quite frazzled because I've been paying attention so long.
Exactly.
I'm taking in what you're saying, then when it comes to my bit, I'm like, oh shit, ask this, ask that, and it starts getting a bit...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, definitely.
In terms of the article, what I try and do is aim like 5 days after the interview, because I'll go back over it, listen to it all, transcribe it. That takes a while, and then I'll type up a feature, and then another thing is when it comes to it, I hope you don't mind sending me some images of some of your holiday camps and
100%, mate. Yeah, will do.
Send me the link to that blog you mentioned about your experience. Because I'd like to read that.
Yeah, sure.
And thanks, Ben. I really do appreciate you talking to me and keep up the good work. Like I say, what this little magazine I'm doing is all about. It's just sort of
100%. I honestly think like this is the first, like in 2 years, you're the first person who don't even know you really just through connection of Yap, who's gone, Sam, I'm going to do that. You know, I'm going to talk to him. And this is, if you read another really good read, which you'll love, if you've not read it before, I'd really say get Audible and put earphones on because I can't read very well, so I just listen to them all. Richard Branson's Losing My Virginity.
Okay.
He talks about how he started a magazine in school and all that, and how he got interviews with people. Oh, mate, incredible read.
Oh, listen.
But if I could give, I suppose the last thing I'd add if I was like talking to you is that if I could give advice to anyone, it would be that Ty Lopez thing, that just start reading books on business, on factual books, you know, and you will just naturally start to improve in your life.
Yeah.
I suppose, but yeah.
Wicked.
But yeah, it's great, mate. But when I'm in Lincoln, which I will be, we'll go out for a pint or something.
Before the
Yeah, well, I'll get to visit Yap probably before he ends uni.
Yeah.
So we'll go out for a pint. Like,
I don't think we have met, have we?
No, I maybe, mate, or I'll probably pissed out my head.
Maybe. I don't know if you've been. Have you been to Lincoln before? You have. You visited.
I've been to like a fancy dress party.
What? Was it where everyone had to be signed beginning with L?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I was there, yeah, but I.
Oh shit! Right, yeah, we probably met.
I blagged it because I didn't buy a costume, and I called myself Leonardo DiCaprio, like a smug motherfucker. What did you go as?
Yeah, no, I didn't go as anything. Someone just like painted L's on my arm, and I was like, "Well, there we go."
We probably did meet that night. But
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
When you next down, we'll go for a pint and that.
Sick, mate. All right.
Thanks for speaking to me.
Yeah, cheers for reaching out. You what, mate? Sorry.
Ich muss die Schützenhausen gehen.
All right, they're good.
Did that make sense? I must go for a shot.
Yeah, almost. That was pretty good.
What did I say?
That was pretty good.
Was it nearly there? I'm gonna I can't leave that in there. But, you know.
Yeah, no, that was pretty good German. Ich muss scheißen is better.
Ich muss scheißen.
Yeah.
All right, mate. I don't really
Alles
need
gut,
shit.
right.
I don't know why I said it, but
no, that's it, mate.
I'll leave you to it.
They're the first words you learn in a different language, the swear words.
Yeah. Yeah. Cheers, Ben. Appreciate it. That article probably
cheers, mate.
Stay today. Thursday. I should aim by Monday. Tuesday it'll be up.
Sick. Yeah. Nice one.
Right,
look forward to it.
Good luck with everything, and I hope you continue to excel.
Cheers, mate. Right. Good speaking to you.
Have a good one.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, you too, mate. Bye.